dalam mencetuskan gagasan serta solusi dari isu permasalahan di negara secara sistematis, metodologis, dan dapat dipertanggungjawabkan. Adiwidya 9 hadir dengan tema City as an alternative solution for development and urban equity in Indonesia merupakan serangkaian acara yang dikemas dalam bentuk talk show Smart Education, Smart Social Economy, dan Science Technology sebagai wadah guna menggali wawasan isu nasional dan solusinya, serta dalam bentuk webinar internasional sebagai sarana dalam mensinergikan peran mahasiswa dan menjaring solusi maupun gagasan penyelesaian permasalahan masyarakat guna mewujudkan pengembangan dan pemerataan kota di Indonesia. Sebagai kaum intelek muda, mahasiswa seharusnya lebih punya daya untuk memberikan gagasan serta solusi untuk menjadi bahan pertimbangan pemerintah dalam memutuskan suatu kebijakan. Untuk itu, kami manusia Allah ciptakan sebagai khalifah fil ardh untuk menjaga alam semesta. Kami hanya diperintahkan untuk bertawakal dan berikhtiar. Maka, inilah salah satu upaya kami dalam memberi solusi, mengutarakan gagasan pembangunan Smart City sebagai bentuk kepedulian kami terhadap negeri.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome again to the international webinar of the 9 Adiwidya. Now we are on the second session of this webinar. This session will be guided by our moderator, Mr. Nurrahman Wijaya, ST, M.Si, PhD. and I will introduce the moderator first. Well, Mr. Nurrahman Wijaya is an assistant professor in the Department of Urban and Regional Planning, School of Architecture, Planning and Policy Development, Bandung Institute of Technology, Indonesia. And he is also a certified urban and regional planner, Indonesian Planner Association, IAP, from 2021 until 2023. In 2020, he in urban environmental management in ASEAN Institute of Technology, Thailand. He also has double master degree, first one in 2006 in ITB is Master of Science in Urban and Regional Planning, and the second one is in 2010 in AIT, Thailand as Master of Science in Urban Environmental Management. Well, everyone, without any further ado, please welcome our moderator, Mr. Nurrahman. Hi, sir. How are you there?
Thank you very much, Aleo Saputra. I'm fine.
Well, sir. Well, very nice to hear. Are you ready to guide this discussion for today?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Without any further ado, time is yours, sir.
Thank you very much, the MC, Aleo Saputra, for the kind introduction. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good afternoon, honorable speakers, and all participants of this international webinar. Hi, Professor Winarso from ITB and Pak Setiaji from the Ministry of Health, and also he is the head of the Informatics of West Java Province. I hope you are doing well. So please introduce me again. My name is Nurrahman Wijaya. As mentioned by the MC, I'm going to be a moderator for the second session of today's webinar. I'm very happy to see you all and welcome all of you to this second session. Dear all participants, I hope you are still enthusiastic to participate in this webinar. To remind you all, our webinar themes is about smart city as an alternative solution for development and urban equity in Indonesia. In the first session, we have listened and discussed the importance of the existence of smart city and its relationship to urban development from Professor Michael Batty and Professor Jiro Kokuryo. However, they share more in the context of international perspective. Now, we are very happy to welcome two competent speakers in their fields according to the topic of our seminar. I believe that they both are going to share their thoughts and relevant experience regarding the implementation of smart city in the context of Indonesia. Our speakers in the second session are Professor Haryo Winarso and Pak Setiaji on behalf of the West Java Governor. So, Professor Haryo will focus on the current research or study development of smart city, particularly in smart urban environment, and Pak Setiaji will discuss on his experience in the governmental activities in how to implement some of the elements of smart cities in practical way, especially in the adoption of digital transportation in West Java Province. Dear all participants, before the presentation starts, please let me use this opportunity to read the short biography of our honorable speakers. First, Professor Haryo Winarso. He is a professor in the Department of Urban Regional Planning at the School of Architecture, Planning and Policy Development in ITB. He also head of Urban Planning and Design Research Group in the ITB. He has a bachelor degree in architecture from Gajah Mada University, and he obtained the doctoral degree from the DPU Bartlett School of Architecture and Planning, University College London. And then Pak Setiaji, the second is Pak Setiaji. He is currently as a head of communication and informatics agency in West Java Provincial Government, Indonesia. Also, he is a chief digital transformation of Ministry of Health. He obtained his Bachelor of Informatic Engineering from University of Gunadarma and got master degree in Regional Financial Administration from University of Indonesia. He had received many awards, both individual and organizational level, such as the Catalyst Technology Award 2021, Global CIO Forum and RosettaNet, the World CIO 200 Awards, APEC Edition, Global CIO Forum 2020, and so on and so forth. So they're all participants. Because we use a webinar platform, I would like to remind you all how the presentation will proceed. First, Professor Haryo will be invited to present the material. Then will be continued by Pak Setiaji to present his material. Each presentation is about 25 minutes. I will keep in mind of the time. After that, there will be a question and answer session for 20 minutes, followed by a gifting ceremony and conclusion. Please write your question and comment in the chat box and mention to whom the question will be addressed. Or you can use the raise hand emotion, and I will give the chance to the participant to use the microphone to ask the question. Now, allow me to welcome the first speaker in this session, Professor Haryo Winarso. Time is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Pak Nur Rahman. Let me make a share screen. Okay. Well, thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here to have an opportunity to share with you all with Kamil. Yeah, again, I will share my experience here, not as an expert in smart city as what perhaps Setiaji or perhaps like Professor Michael Batty, but I'm almost like Professor Jiro, which is looking at different view on the smart city and the smart environment. So I will give it in three part: introduction, city development challenge, and the smart environment. Here, well, we see that in the last decades, the word of smart city has been a trend, and almost every city all over the world trying to be a smart city. They, including in Indonesia, they are trying to be a smart city. And actually, the term of smart city is still, can have a different meaning in different persons. And like that, we have the question in the first session: what is smart city? Why is smart city? So, well, many local governments are keen to have their city or like to be a smart city, and by advancing their ICT and digital technology facilities. So some of them still looking at this ICT and digital technology. Of course, ICT and digital technology is important for smart city, but there's what is it? Yeah. The term smart city is closely related to ICT and digital technology, but not all cities that are equipped with the digitized facilities are automatically deserve the label of smart city. I want to look at this view, this perspective. Why? Okay. Because to me, the smarter a city is, the faster it acts to meet the citizen needs in an efficient and effective way. So, for example, once I think Banyuwangi was a very good, I mean, a small city, but it's very smart because without sophisticated ICT and digital digital technology there, Banyuwangi can serve the public needs in very efficient and effective way. And this is important because if we look at the smart city is only from ICT and digital technology, then sometime perhaps we will see that well, I cannot be a smart city because it's going to be very difficult. The important thing here is actually the person behind the gun. We know that city development have a challenge. Well, the Sustainable Development Goals, global goals, say that there are 17 goals and 169 targets. They are covered like poverty, public health, the environment, education, justice, and effort to target the SDGs must go hand in hand with the plan that builds economic growth, addresses a range of social needs, including health, education, climate change, and inequality. And we just know experience with the COVID-19 that changed everything. Of course, in this case, this digital and technology is very helpful for this one, for developing this or coping with the pandemic COVID-19. In Habitat Conference Quito, Ecuador in October 2016, there are two countries in the world agrees that in 2050 the world urban population will double, and they will cause social and cultural problem, as well as environmental humanitarian impacts are increasingly concentrated in cities. There are problems with housing, infrastructure, basic services, food, security, health, education, decent job, and natural resources are the problem that are faced by cities in the future. Then the world government agree that we have resolved the problem with adopt the new urban agenda with three principles. Leave no one behind, like that Professor Jiro has just mentioned in the session 1. Sustainable and inclusive urban economies and environmental sustainability. These three has to be interlinked when we deal with this urban problem, the city's problem. Leave no one behind, ending poverty in all forms and dimensions, including the eradication of extreme poverty, ensuring equal right, opportunity, socioeconomic and cultural diversity, ensuring public participation. And there's a question whether with this, how can we improve our participation using digital technology? Sustainable and inclusive urban economies by leveraging the agglomeration benefit of well-planned urbanization, ensuring decent jobs creation, preventing land speculation, and promoting secure land tenure. Environment sustainability, and this is one of the topic that we will discuss now, is by promoting clean energy resource, land use efficiency, promoting sustainable consumption, building resilience, reducing disaster risks, and mitigating and adapting climate change. We have actually four challenges, four main challenges. First, of course, this urbanization. Here we can see that in Indonesia, for instance, we already have a population that live in urban area more than what we have in rural area. And this means that the urban area should be able to deal with this, to cope with the problem of the more and more people living in urban area. And these are what's important is water. Some studies have revealed that only approximately 40% of the urban population of 85 million people in Indonesia has access to piped water, while transportation development in cities is unable to catch up with the ever-increasing population, causing traffic jams almost in all cities. Water is also important, transportation is across also one. And we have to deal also with severe flooding in many cities almost every year. Water, we don't have pipe water, clean water, but on the other hand, we always experience with flood almost every year. Second is food security. Indonesia ranked 72 of 109 countries in the Global Food Security Index in 2014. Perhaps now it's increasing, but still we are lag behind some other countries. How the city government will satisfy the increasing need for food in the future remains to be solved. The third one is energy. The most recent intergovernment panel climate change report shows that urban areas consume between 67 and 76% of global energy and generate about 3/4 of global carbon emissions. It significantly contributes to climate change. It is important that city government are able to curb the energy use. Is a must. So we have to think about this. And the last one is the challenge on climate change. City and their residents, especially the poor, are vulnerable to the impact of climate change. Indonesian cities have to be able to mitigate and adapt whenever needed. For example, the sea level increase on a BBC report saying that in 2050, around 1,500 Indonesian islands could be submerged. And the same report said that the persistent land subsidence would push Soekarno-Hatta International Airport below sea level in 2030. So these are the challenges in urban development in around the world and especially also in Indonesia. So how we deal with this? This challenge will harder to deal with when the problem of city government arises. In fact, transparency and accountability remain a cause of concern in most cities in Indonesia. That is to say that people, the man behind the gun, is the most important part of the city and urban development. So when we say about smart city, then we have also to think about the people who operate the smartness of the city. That's the important things. So then we have to think about the smart environment. Urban environment is the important part of the sustainable development. If we go to this urban development, then this is one. In order to ameliorate the environment challenge, comprehensive land use planning could play a vital role. For example, development and redeveloping cities in such a manner that natural drainage patterns are not disturbed. Air, water, and land pollution, particularly the mega cities, could be reduced to a significant level by promoting green technologies, green buildings, clean energy, promotion of reliable, efficient, and affordable public housing. Increasing the built-up area also will, decreasing the open spaces and reduce infiltration and increase surface runoff. And this kind of thing has to be delayed. The increased population also need more land, and this, of course, creating also high density pocket of urban areas and another form of slums. Air, water, and land pollution, particularly in mega cities, could be reduced to a significant level by promoting green technologies, green building, clean energy, and promotion of reliable, efficient, and public transportation system. Also, slum and squatter present of sustainable represent a value in sustainable land use planning and the policy framework. Environmental sustainability actually is one of the pillars of smart city. Smart city should be sustainable in every respect, such as economy, transport, livelihood, and environment. To make a city sustainable and smart, carrying capacity of the city should be taken into consideration. The term sustainability that include noise pollution control, air pollution control, adherence to green building norms, water pollution and controls, household connected to wastewater sewerage network, wastewater treatment, population with regular solid waste collection, and recycling of solid waste should be there. And smart city, of course, the technology can be used for increasing the capability of the city government to deal with all this environment. But again, although smart environmental is defined as capabilities to be self-aware, how it functions in 24-hour, 7-day weeks, and communicate selectively in real-time knowledge and real-time knowledge to citizen and user for a satisfactory way of life with easy public delivery of services. They are all can be made smart using ICT and IoT. Smart environment designed to be user-friendly, employing intelligent solutions, including smart materials and information. Communication technology is very important for this, which are able to interact with environment. I know that some people in ITB also working on this, looking at trying to find out how we can know to deal with the waste from the housing when it has to be taken, like what happened in what they have do it in Barcelona. So every waste is monitored centrally so that they can know when it's full and they have to go to take the waste without making this waste garbage more in the place before it compiled there. They can take it very effective and efficient. So the basic principle of smart environmental is a human-centered design. This is important. It's human-centered design, context awareness, and high-touch architectural plan and interdisciplinary integration. So what I want to say is like this actually. When we say about smart environment, there are two things, and this is also the same with the smart city. There are two infrastructure. One is the hard infrastructure, and the other is soft infrastructure. The hard infrastructure is those related to ICT-oriented approach. I see that some city government thinking that ICT-oriented approach is most important than the people-oriented approach, the soft infrastructure. Actually, both are very important. Hard infrastructure like transport, mobility, water, waste, energy, building, and open spaces are of course, is important, and ICT, digital technology, can deal with this. How to deal with transportation, mobility, make it easier to find transportation like we have with the ojol, something. Or we can have a ICT on tracking the use of water, something like that. And waste, like I've just mentioned, and also energy. When we go out and the energy, the electricity will shut down or something like that. Because all will have an impact on the quality of the environment. But at the other end, people-oriented approach, the soft infrastructure is also very important. Social and human capital, inclusion and participation, social innovation, equity, and knowledge are very important. I have something experience that one kabupaten who get a good platform for smart city, like what we have in Jakarta, like Clue or something like that, that if there is a problem, then people can directly, report to the government. But the problem that the response is very slow, and also that the official in this kabupaten say that I'm overwhelmed with all reports. They cannot do this. So if you have the good hard infrastructure, you are not directly, or it's mean that you can do it if you are not also be able to have good people, good officer, smart officer. I think I'm running out of time. So this
You still have 5 minutes.
5 minutes, okay. Shamsusoha, adapted from Gilfinger, showing that smart city have some pillars like smart governance, smart economy, smart mobility, smart environment, and smart people, and smart living. What I put here, actually, the most important thing is the blue one inside. The base is the smart person, the noble character of the people that make this work. Otherwise, although you have all smart there with the ideology, technology, economy, and other, but if the people are not smart in the sense of have a noble character, then they will not work. They will not work. Believe me, they will not work, because some people, some cities I've visited and have problem with this one. This is 10 example of 10 smart city in the world that actually they specialize in some of these aspect of the development. Like in Paris, they use bike sharing program, or in New York, this one is in 2014. Business Analytics Solution Center, like Professor Jiro, I think, mentioned. In London, Smart City Research Center and Imperial College, but also CASA actually in UCL, like Professor Batty just mentioned. In Tokyo, Digital City and Innovation, Smart Grid. In Copenhagen and Barcelona, this one is very important in Barcelona, low carbon solution and solar thermal ordinance. This is also the characteristic of smartness of this city there. But again, if we call the smart environment, smart and sustainable cities, then we have to be sustainable, which is we have to be able to make it better off, the quality of life, the urban aspect, and intelligence. The urban aspect have to be good, like that we have mobility, housing, and so on. And the quality of life also have to be good. And the smart environment can be achieved in adaptable, reliable, and scalable, accessible resident, such as improve quality of life and its citizen, ensure economic growth with better employment opportunities, improve well-being, establish an environmentally responsible and sustainable approach, ensure efficient service delivery of basic services, ability to address climate change and environmental issues, and provide effective regulation and local government mechanism to ensure the equitable policies. Well, here let me end with this. The measurement of smart city is not how fast the internet connection is, but it should be a speedy response with the help of the internet of the city administration in solving problems faced by its citizens. Among other common urban environment issues are insufficient housing and infrastructure, poor pipe water connection, inadequate sewerage and drainage system, congested transportation system and flood management, energy scarcity, food insecurity, and lack of climate change mitigation. This, if we can respond to the report on this in very efficient and effective way, then we are smart. It doesn't mean that we have to have the technology, but of course, technology is important for this one. The smarter city, the faster it acts to meet the citizen needs efficiently and effectively. I think that's my last slide. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Pak Nur Rahman. I'll turn back the time to you.
Thank you, Professor Haryo. Thank you very much for your presentation. It's a very informative presentation. If I can conclude some points that you mentioned. In the beginning, you mentioned about many definition of smart city and also diver of the concept, but most related to the ICT and the technology. And you also mentioned about the benefit of implementing the smart city to make the efficient and effective way. And also you mentioned about the challenge of doing the smart city that you raise that affect to the society, environmental, and economy. This is the three of the sustainable development elements, but you emphasize or highlight in the environmental sector that there are 4 challenges in the sustainable environmental, which are water and food, climate change, and the energy. And then you mentioned about the how to solve this challenge by implementing the smart environmental that you propose how to integrate the soft infrastructure and the hard infrastructure. And you believe that by doing that, it will make the sustainable of the city. I think that's all from Professor Haryo. Now, allow me to welcome the second speaker, Pak Setiaji. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Pak Nur Rahman. Good afternoon, Pak Haryo, and then also others colleagues here from these participants. First of all, I would like to say apologize from our governor, Pak Ridwan Kamil, this time not eligible to come and present by herself. Hopefully, I can present by Pak Ridwan Kamil present about how transformation digital in West Java. Actually, we talk about the smart city, smart province, and etc. Yeah, this is related to about how we can transform the digital aspect. Yeah, not only in environment but also every aspect in the government sectors. Yeah, like transportation, education, and etc. Okay, maybe I will talk about the West Java initiative, how we approach the digital to our governments, and also every aspect in the services in the province, not only in the province, but also in the city and urban area in the West Java. Okay, first I need to present about the West Java in a glance. Yeah, this is the demographic of the West Java. Actually, this is near from close with the capital city in the Indonesia, Jakarta, and we have many aspects in the West Java. Not only we have the city, but also the regencies. Almost the citizen in West Java is to live in the rural area, and less of them live in the city or urban area. Yeah, we have around 18 regencies and also 9 cities, and we have more than 5,000 villages. Yeah, actually, the West Java is the largest province in Indonesia in terms of the populations. We have around 49 million people live in the West Java. If we can compare with Malaysia around 35, and South Korea is around 51 million people. And yeah, this is like how we manage the countries in the province levels. And because of that, when we talk about the digital or smart or province or smart city, we need also to know more about the condition and also the characteristic, demographics, people's social and etc. In this area. So if you compare with Jakarta itself, yeah, Jakarta actually this is the city and also metropolitan area. There is no villages, but in West Java we have villages. Because of that, our vision in West Java is how the technology can optimize, not only for the citizen live in the city, but also live in the rural area. Because of that, we approach the digital inclusive for digital villages, how we develop the infrastructures, because many villages in West Java have the blind spot. So you no need to go far from the Java itself. We have many villages blind spot. In 2019, we have around 1,000 villages have the blind spot. And now, after we develop the infrastructures in this area, now the rest only 250 villages have still have the blind spot. And then the other thing is how we can use the technology to develop the people to go like the Haryo said, how we can develop the smart peoples in the rural area. So we need to develop the digital literacy in the citizens before they can use the technology. And then we approach like trainings and also the digital literacy educations for the people live in the villages. And this other thing is we can change the peoples before we change the government itself. So we need to change the how we work for fast response, and also how we develop the services on base of the user-centered development. And then we develop the innovative units. We call the Jabar Digital Services. Maybe you know in the West, in Jakarta, they call the Jakarta Smart City. And if we can compare with other countries like the UK, they develop the delivery unit like government digital services in the UK, and then in the USA, they develop the USGDS, US Government Digital Services. So we also develop the innovative unit we call the Java Digital Services. And then many programs to solve the problems using the technology. And then we also promote the innovation and collaboration within the public sectors and also the academic and etc. So we provide like innovation hub, technopark, creative center, and etc. And then we also promote the education, because as you know, many school graduations not enters the industries because some gap between the supply and demand. And then sorry, what maybe I need to to check again. Yeah, this is our strategy. Our strategies to transformation the digital in the West Java. First, about the people. We need to attract and develop the digital tech talents in the West Java. Ini siapa yang ini ya? Sorry. Sorry. Yeah, and then the next thing is about the process, because the many failure of the digital transformations is about the process. And then the next thing is about the technology. We need to adopt the technology to facilitate user needs and solve problems. And then
the participant, please don't use the pens.
Ada yang ganggu ya?
Yeah. Okay, maybe we can continue. Yeah. And then the next thing is actually the government cannot run by itself. Yeah. We need to collaborate, collaborations, yeah, using the what we call the pentahelix. So we need to close collaboration with the academia, business, communities, and government, and also for the media. Yeah, this is our teams, Java Digital Services. Our vision is how we can use the technology, the data, and also the data-driven for decision-making process, and also how we digitizing and accelerating business process in public services. And also the important thing is how improving the quality of life through technology, especially in the rural area. And then talking about the COVID-19, yeah, we developed what we call the PICO bars. PICO bar itself is the Pusat Informasi Koordinasi COVID-19 in West Java. Yeah, these very impressive tools to manage the COVID-19 in the West Java. So we learn how the COVID-19 accelerate the digital transformation in West Java, and also the private sector in the not only West Java but also in other cities and also other countries. Yeah, this is the COVID-19 condition in West Java. Yeah, alhamdulillah, the condition is gradually decreasing. Now it's under 100. Yeah, before around more than 10,000. Yeah. And the complexity for the digital transformation during pandemics is actually the COVID-19 is new phenomenon, and the pandemics is some challenges for the capacity of public health and also economic and the social sector. Yeah, we need to change our behaviors to make like a friendly with the COVID-19. Yeah. And then we want to reduce the risk physical contact and also change the digital divide by increasing the digital experience and also digital literacy in the villages. Because of that, this is our applications. Actually, this is super apps. The application is contains some features like emergency numbers, the information of data cases, and logistic, and also donation, and self-isolation, and also the mental health services. Like now, we promote some teleconsultations, for mental health, and also for self-diagnosing. And also when the increasing for the COVID-19, we also have some services for medication for free, and also the oxygen for supply, and also the vaccination itself. Yeah, this is how we use the technology to monitor the everything about the COVID-19's growth in West Java. So we monitor everything in the dashboard. And also the dashboard is provided for public, for citizens, so they can use this for analysis the situation in the West Java for COVID-19 cases. And also we use some technology and forecasting system to know more about the condition of the potential risk in some villages. Yeah, so we can check and balancing about the potential risks in the rural area. We use the data coming from transportation. Maybe you know the waste. Yeah, we collect the data around 2 minutes, and then we use this for manage the information to know more about the situation for mobility and etc. And then also we use the population density, using the data coming from the poldes, and then we use also potential crowds using the crowd points from the Facebook and also coming from the Googles. And then we combine with the slums area and also the COVID-19 confirms. Because of that, we can calculate the others system or others data, so we can use this to know more about the where the area high risk and where the area is low risk. And then the other thing is about how we promote the digital improvement in the rural area. Yeah, as you know from the research in the 2030 more, around 70% or until 80% people will be leave the rural area, and then they will immigrate to the urban area or to the urban area. Because of that, we need to change this research, this forecast for the people who live in the urban area. We need to provide the technology. We need to provide opportunity in rural area. Because of that, our concern in West Java is how the citizens live in the area have salary or have income like in the city, but they can still work in the rural area. Yeah, some programs already developed in this area. First, we provide the free Wi-Fi digital villages. Yeah, collaboration with the communication and information accessibility body or the Batty, and we provide the technology like a VSAT because there are some area no have fiber optics, and some of area have forest and also the lake and etc. So we provide the VSAT, and then after we develop the technology in this area, some of area like villages underdeveloped is decreasing, and for the independent villages is increasing. Before the 2019, we still have much the underdeveloped area. Now only 18, and every villages now is going to the independent villages. Yeah, we hope in 2024, 23, more than 1,000 or more than 2,000 villages is independent villages. This is our programs for the digital villages. Actually, we have 10 themes or thematics digitals like fishery, telemedicine, agriculture, and etc. Yeah, this is what we concern about the villages. Actually, we have the 3 levels of the development of the villages. First, about the infrastructures. So if there is no infrastructures for the internet, we develop first about infrastructures, and then after got the infrastructures for the internet connectivity, we develop the person first, because we don't need the people to use the internet for the negative. We need to use this for the positive or productive ways. Because of that, we make sure the people live in the villages have a digital literate. Using the collaborations, we with some volunteers like Relawan TIK and also the Patriot Desa provide the education to the citizen live in the rural area. And then after they got the digital literacy, and then we promote or we provide some technology like industrial 4.0, yeah, like IoT and also e-commerce. So villages can able to independently and sustainability empower their productivity. Yeah, this is our progress in these years. Yeah, first infrastructures. Yeah, we provide the internet infrastructures, and for the digital literacy, we provide the trainings from partners and community. And for the third levels, yeah, we work with various partners like Tokopedia to increase the potential resource in the villages. So every citizen can sell their product using the e-commerce. And if there is no, if the people now have like a smartphone, they can come to what we call the Talesa, yeah, Pusat Digital Desa. This is the offline. We combine the offline and online for the e-commerce. They can come in these buildings, and then they can sell the products using the technology installed in this area. And then for the other levels, yeah, for the IoT, we with some startup like a fishery, collaborating with the fishery, we deploy the IoT to optimize fishery cultivations. Yeah, yeah. The program actually until now around 15 cities and regency already installed these applications and they install this equipment. And then other thing is agriculture. We collaborate with the Habibi Garden to provide some sensors. Yeah, actually we have the 6 sensors. Yeah, to make sure the peoples or the farmers live in the hills. Yeah, they can farmer not only depend on the rain sessions. Yeah, after this they can farmer every times. Yeah, every day in the years. Yeah, using this technology, and then also use the telehealth. Yeah, collaborating with the startup like Adopta. Deploy in the villages with medical healthcare workers. Yeah, so specialists, because as you know, the doctor specialists in the rural area is very limited. So we with some technology provide this technology for telehealth. And then for education itself, yeah, we are collaborating with Ediwidya. Actually, this is the local partners, yeah, coming from the West Java, complement education facility using the smart routers for offline access. So we have like a box. This is content with the education, education books, education exam, and etc. So the citizen, the people live in this area can access offline for the contents for the education, and then also for the multimedia and etc. We invite the villages and also the citizens to become like to become like Instagrammable, and also like Atta Halintars. Yeah, we hope it can come from the rural area to promote their pariwisata, the tourism, and then also they can promote the natural resources is coming from the area, yeah, using the media socials. Yeah, this is the detail of the productivity, the fishery. Yeah, after this we can upgrade, yeah, the productivity into the 100%. And then this is the digital villages. Yeah. Oops, sorry. Yeah, and then the other thing is after we collaborate, after we develop the some program in the villages and also the West Java, this is what we got. Yeah, some of awards already got from the our initiative. Actually, this is not our goals. Yeah, actually our goals is how we can make it efficient for the farmers. Yeah, for the agriculture, etc., and also make impact for the people live in the rural area. After this, yeah, we hope there is no people against coming from the rural area into the urban area. We hope every people urban area come back to the villages because we provide the opportunity, we provide the economic activity in this area using the technology. Okay, I think this is the last slide for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pak Setiaji, for giving us such a valuable and insightful presentation from the context of West Java province. Maybe I can give some highlight from your presentation that you mentioned how West Java province can implement the digital transformation in many aspects, not only in the urban area, but also in the rural area. So you mentioned some platform that that already done, such as like in Jabar Digital Province, there are some 6 components, and the important things, the strategy for the digital transformation. Like you have to see the people, the process, and the technology. I think that's all from the speakers. Now we move to the question and answer session. So maybe from the participant, if you have any question, you can write your question in the chat box, or you can use the raise hand emotion. So I can allow you to on the microphone. Okay, I got the question from the committee. So the first question, it's come from Safira Nur Hasanah from ITB. She asked about, I want to ask, what do the speakers think about how can smart city contributes towards social inclusivity and sustainable economic recovery in times of pandemic? Is there any correlation between smart city and sustainability in terms of economic recovery during pandemic and social inclusivity in Indonesia? Thank you. Maybe we can start from the first question from Safira. Maybe both of the speaker can answer or can respond this question. Maybe start from Professor Haryo. Maybe you have any thoughts about this question?
Thank you for the question. I think it's a good question. And of course, smart city or digitalized or the ICT have very, contribute very much in our condition right now in the pandemic situation. Think about how it can contribute towards social inclusion and sustainable economic. Yes, because like what we have, when we cannot go everywhere, then only the ojol and what is it? What you call that one? We can buy everything, our daily necessity from the internet, and this is very helpful. This contribute a lot on this one, and of course on the social inclusivity. Yeah, I think in a way they can also when we are in the current time, when we are at home, we cannot go everywhere or something like that, and we can still have a communication with others through this internet. And of course, if our smart city became very good, then we can have more opportunity for this. Look at the Singapore, for instance, when it was in, I think still right now, and you come to Singapore, you have to be quarantined in a hotel, and you cannot go everywhere, and they can see if you, even if you just go out from the hotel room, they can see it. And also in UK, although right now it's open, but at the beginning they have to go and they have to be quarantined. Of course, this is this. You can see if the people are going out or not. And during this pandemic, the smart city system or this ICT system, digitalized economic, is very important. They can contribute to the economic development, and even right now. I think that's my answer, sorry.
Thank you, Professor Haryo. You mentioned that smart city and sustainability concept can be correlated to the economic recovery. So maybe Pak Setiaji, you can add the answer from the context of West Java province, please.
Yeah, maybe I will inform about the feature out of the growth, economic growth, in Indonesia and also in the West Java. Actually, only two sectors are still positive growth, like IT and also the agri, and then the second is agriculture, and then the rest is negative growth. So we can learn from this figure only two, IT and also the agriculture. In West Java, we can still survive, because mostly in West Java is agriculture area, and because of that, the IT itself is very important thing to promote and to make this sustain. We provide like technology, the infrastructures to the agriculture area to make this more productivity. Like I said before, we with the Habibie Gardens, increasing their product like cultivation and also others plants. So there is some strong correlation within the technology, for example, like a smart city for the sustainability. We provide the more technology, it will be more sustained for the economic and also for their productivity. I think this is the correlation within the technology and also the sustainability in this for the sample for the rural area conditions.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you, Pak Setiaji, for your response. Now we are going to the second question from Nicola from University of Ciputra. The question is about smart city. What if that city don't have enough resources to innovate or evolve, and the government is indifferent to the problem? And how to prevent people who want to move to another city that more advanced because the city itself has not developed yet? Thank you. So it's interesting question. Maybe who will first? Maybe Professor Haryo.
Yeah,
please.
Okay, this is interesting. The first one, of course, that's why I'm saying that the people is the important thing. If the people are not going, doesn't want to change, or here is the government doesn't want to change, then they can live behind. They will be left behind. But if they want to transfer and the people want to educate themselves, even if their ICT is not good at that time or right now, they can still work for the good of the citizen. So if the resources are not enough, but the people are still working or smart, so the smart people is important here. Even without good ITC, perhaps they can still serve the citizen better, because what I'm saying that a smart city is those who can serve the people better, with or without ICT or digital technology. And the second question, and how to prevent people who want to move to city for more advanced. We actually cannot prevent or cannot what you call cannot people are always going to where the place that can give more jobs. You cannot avoid that. So like Pak Setiaji just mentioned, the rural area have to be good in everything and can give them jobs and economic opportunity. If there are no economic opportunity in the rural area, people will go to the city. That is natural like this. So we cannot prevent. And also, it is the right of the people to go everywhere they can have a job. You cannot prevent. But if in the rural area there are more economic development, more jobs, more opportunity to get work or job, and good enough for facilities, then people are not going to the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Haryo. Maybe Pak Setiaji can give us some thoughts about this question.
Maybe I give the real case here in the West Java. This is the real case actually. Around 2018, there is some area, some villages in the Tasikmalaya Regencies. The village's name is Pancamandala. Actually, the Pancamandala itself, the government, there is no enough resources about the budget. They trying to propose some initiative called the infrastructures in this area, because the government have resources. So they with the others villages, among villages, they built they call the BUMADES, Badan Usaha Milik Antar Desa. So they collecting some numbers of the money, and then after this they build the infrastructures by self. Because why they need to build this initiative? Because many young people leave the villages to the cities because there is no opportunity in there. Because that the initiative self to collecting within among the villages, and then after this they build the towers, and then they rent the internet access, and then after this they operate the internet access by self. And then after this, they can develop the villages, and then they can attract the young peoples to come back to the villages. So from the lesson from these villages, I think we can initiative by self. If there is no opportunity from the province or from city. Because as you know, in the villages, there is the budgets coming from the Ministry of the Desa, Kementerian Desa provide the budgets around 1 billion rupiah every year. They can use this for develop the infrastructures. After they develop infrastructures, they can get more opportunity. I think that the real case from the West Java.
Interesting case.
Thank you, Pak Setiaji and Professor Haryo for the answer. We still have the time for the question and answer session. Okay, there are many. Okay, maybe we can start from the third question. Good afternoon. From Talita from Gajah Mada University. She wants to ask about the smart environment. Maybe this addressed to Professor Haryo. For smart environment in the city, actually Indonesia has many guidelines to design the green city, which is a green ship neighborhood by Green Ship Indonesia. However, there are many designers or design of the urban that implement the guidelines that in the green ship neighborhood. But Professor Haryo, what is the cause green ship neighborhood is not yet implemented in the guideline of the urban design? Thank you. Maybe this question for only Professor Haryo. Please, Professor Haryo.
Itu KH ya. I'm sorry.
Green ship neighborhood. You aware about this?
Yeah, this is a regulation or guideline for making what is it, neighborhood or RT area more green. Well, theoretically it can be done, but in practice, there need the people who, you know, the RT or area or these people are very aware of this. Perhaps they are not aware right now. So this is our job to share the knowledge, to share to them that there is a guideline for this. And so the reason why is that because they don't know how to do it. So if we can share our knowledge, and the students, of course, can also share the knowledge to them, then I think it can be done. We can done directly to our neighbor, actually. Yeah, I think that's all.
Okay, thank you, Professor Haryo. The next question for Pak Setiaji. This question from Rido Arisyadi from ITB. How strong Jabar ICT system, such as Picobar, against malware or other malfunction? Are digital village infrastructure using the provincial budget? Is there any collaboration with the private sector? How the digital village infrastructure maintenance?
Okay.
Please, Pak Setiaji.
Yeah. Thank you, ya, Pak Mas Kang Rido. First, I want to ask answer the Picobar itself. Actually, the Picobar, we developed this from open source, yeah, and also this also open to the public or private sector to use the source code, use this Picobar. Why we develop this for open source? Because we need more collaboration from the private sectors to develop together. And talking about the malware or viruses or hacking and etc. Actually, we have the CISR, yeah, computer incident response, yeah, team. Every time monitors about the hacking or cyber attacks to the West Java. Actually, last year, yeah, in 2020, we have more than 9 million attack, yeah, coming not only from Indonesia but also others countries. Yeah, because we have some system and also some teams, yeah, to manage the situations. Yeah, alhamdulillah, there is no issue about the data itself and also about the system. And the other thing is actually we with some white hackers, yeah, collaboration to manage this system. And the other things.
Setiaji, you still unmute.
Okay, actually, we with the white hackers communities together build the Picobars for the security, and then also we doing like a pen test or ITSA before deploy this into the productions. And then the next thing is about the digital village, yeah, infrastructure. It's actually we mix, yeah. not only use the provincial budget, but also use some collaboration within the private sector and also the central governments. And then we with the villages area, yeah, actually this year we provide around 141 villages infrastructures, and in first year we subsidize, and then the second years the villages hopefully can doing by self, using their money, and then they're collecting from the people. And then how the digital village infrastructure maintenance, yeah, actually after the second years, yeah, the maintenance is coming from the villages itself. They in the first year we train the people to manage the infrastructures, and also the manage the business using some technology and some other parties. Yeah, actually this is like mandiri. We need independence villages. We hope in the second years they can manage the infrastructures, they can manage the business, and then they can manage the content by self using what we call this program is Kawasan Desa Digital. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Setiaji, for your answer. The next question, I think this question addressed to Professor Haryo, because I remember in one slide you mentioned about the foundation for the building of smart city. The question is from Sugeng Supriyanto from ITB. The question is, the foundation for building smart city is a smart people, akhlakul karimah. But in our education curriculum, this is not visible in real terms. As far as I know, religious education taught from elementary to high school is more about fikih issue than morality itself. How about your opinion, Professor Haryo?
Yeah, that is also true. I mean, we have to change, but I think it's changing. You know, it's transformed. There's morality is important now, although it's still left behind if we compare to, for instance, in Japan, even though are not religious, are not too religious, but the discipline from starting from the beginning is very strong on the morality. We have to learn from Japan, I think. Yeah, I mean, you are right that we have to give more morality starting from beginning, from what is it, from primary school, or even from the beginning, taman kanak-kanak. You have to start this with the morality. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Professor Haryo. Yeah, this is the what we call the complex situation that we should start from the regulation, from the everything. It's not only top down, but from the bottom up. So here, I think because of the time limitation, I will end the question and answer session. Thank you very much, Professor Haryo and Pak Setiaji, for the response and the answer. Now we continue to the gifting ceremony. First, on behalf of the committee, we want to give symbolic certificates and placards to appreciate your valuable times and participation in this international seminar. The committee will send the certificate and placard to your home address. First, I will say thanks for Professor Haryo Winarso. Thank you very much once again, Professor Haryo. And before we end, please give some key points or concluding remarks from your presentation. Please, Professor Haryo.
Thank you. First of all, I would like to thanks to all the committee for this. And what I'm like to share here is that the important thing on the smart city is the smart people and the smart person, actually, not the ICT or the digital or the technology itself, because the technology is only a enabler, but the most important is the people who work for and operate this technology. Without those people, the technology will mean nothing. So this is the important thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Haryo. And the second, on behalf of the committee, we also want to give symbolic certificates and placard to appreciate your valuable time and participation in this international webinar. And the committee will send the real certificate and placard to your home address. Thank you very much, Pak Setiaji, for your attendance. And please give some key points from your presentation, please, Pak Setiaji.
Thank you, Pak Nur Rahman. First of all, I would like to thank the committee, and once again, apologize from our governors cannot attend today. Yeah, talking the technology, smart city and province, we need to change our perspective about the technology itself. Technology itself, we need to make sure it can give more impacts to the citizens, and also change the government to become the efficient governments, efficient and effective governments. I think that's all.
Thank you, Pak Setiaji. I would like to thank the distinguished speakers for their informative and interesting presentation, and all the participants for their active participation. Finally, please give applause for the speakers and also to the participants. And now I return back to the MC. Thank you and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Mr. Nur Rahman, and also Pak Setiaji and Prof. Haryo for hosting and also for discussion. It's very insightful discussion this afternoon, and I hope this will be very beneficial for all of the participants. Well, before jumping to the gifting ceremony, we are going to have a photo session first. Therefore, we ask all the speakers and also the moderator and all the participants to open the camera first, so we can the committee can capture slide by slide. Okay, please, committee. Well, from the first slide, I'm gonna start. 1, 2, and 3. Great. Okay, next slide. Well, nice. For the next slide, please. Okay, insert slide, and the next one. Okay, the next slide. Is this the last slide? Sorry, committee.
Okay, that's all enough photo session for today. Thank you for Prof. Haryo Winarso, Mr. Setiaji, and Mr. Nurrahman as moderator for today. And next, we're jumping to the next agenda is gifting ceremony. We're gonna have a giving appreciation for Mr. Nurrahman from all the committees for your availability to be a moderator for today. I hope today's session will be memorable for you and of course beneficial for all the participants. And here's the certificate and placard that will be sent directly to your house from the committees. Thank you very much, Mr. Nurrahman.
Thank you. You're welcome.
All right. Okay, thank you once again. And we have already arrived at the end of the session, and I would like to remind you that tomorrow we still have a webinar session. So for the registered participants, don't forget to join us again with the link that you have received in the email. And don't forget to fill in the list of attendees and evaluations, and the prize winner will be announced tomorrow. I hope you have found the presentation at these conferences are informative and helpful. We'd like to apologize if there's any mistake from us for our session today. Thank you for your attention and attendance, and see you tomorrow. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, everyone.
Waalaikumsalam.
Salam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you for all. Feel it again.
Ini